You ever return home from a peaceful trip, thinking you're about to relax, only to discover your entire world turned upside down? That's what happened to me. I left for a week-long trip out of town. Sun, beaches, no emails. But when I came back, my house was taken over, and not by burglars. It was the HOA president. Yes, Karen from next door. And wait till you hear what she did. It was a warm Friday afternoon. I'd just gotten off a red-eye flight, exhausted but happy. All I could think about was getting home, grabbing a cold drink, and collapsing on the couch. The second I turned onto my street, something felt off. There were 3 cars in my driveway. One of them, Karen's white SUV. The other 2, I didn't recognize. I pulled up slowly, heart already racing. Had something happened while I was gone? I parked by the curb, walked up to my own front door, and froze. Through the window, I saw movement. Kids running around. A man, not me, was sitting on my recliner, watching TV, and there was Karen, in my kitchen, pouring herself a glass of wine like she owned the place. I banged on the door, loud, hard, repeatedly. The door opened a few seconds later, and it was Karen, looking at me like I was the intruder. She goes, "Oh, you're back early." No apology, no shame, just annoyance. I stepped forward and said, "What the hell is going on here?" And what she said next: "You weren't supposed to be back until Monday. We thought you'd be okay with us using the place for the weekend since you're hardly ever here anyway." Excuse me, did I just get invited out of my own home? Turns out, while I was away, Karen had let herself in using a spare key I'd trusted her with years ago for emergencies only. And she didn't just visit, she moved in. Her husband, their 2 teenage boys, even her sister-in-law were staying there. They brought food, bags, and even changed the Wi-Fi password. I was fuming. I told her to pack up and leave immediately. She had the nerve to say, "Well, if you're gonna be rude, I'll just call the police." She was calling the police. On me, in my own house. I laughed out of disbelief and said, "Go ahead. Let's see how that works out for you." And guess what? She did. About 10 minutes later, a squad car pulled up. I explained everything, how this was my property, how I'd just returned from a trip and found this family squatting in my home. Karen tried to spin it. She told the officer she thought I'd given her permission and didn't realize I'd be back early. She even pulled the neighborly favor card, saying she was just looking after the place. I handed the officer my ID, property documents, and security footage from my Ring camera. Everything matched. Everything proved she had no right to be there. The officer turned to her and said the most beautiful sentence I've ever heard. "Ma'am, you and your family need to vacate the premises immediately or we'll escort you out." You should have seen her face. They packed up their stuff in silence. The teens looked embarrassed. Her husband didn't say a word. And Karen, she didn't apologize. Not once. As they left, she hissed, "You'll regret making a scene. Oh Karen, you have no idea. I changed every lock in that house the same day, got new cameras, new alarm system, and of course, revoked her access to anything of mine." But it didn't end there. The following week, I started getting notices from the HOA citing violations. My grass was too long, I had just mowed it. My trash cans were visible, they were behind the fence. My porch light was too bright, seriously. Closing parenthesis. It was obvious who was behind it. Karen was using her position as HOA president to retaliate. So, I did what any normal, fed-up homeowner would do. I documented everything, emails, texts, photos, video, and then I filed a formal complaint against her with the HOA board, along with legal notice for trespassing and unauthorized use of private property. Turns out, I wasn't the only one who had issues with her. 3 weeks later, she was voted out as HOA president. Several other homeowners came forward with complaints. She'd been abusing her power for months, fining people unfairly, sneaking into backyards for inspections, even shaming residents on the neighborhood Facebook group. Let's just say, she lost that re-election badly. As for me, not only did I finally get peace and quiet in my own home, but the new HOA board actually apologized for everything I went through. Justice served. Now maybe you're watching this thinking, that could never happen in my neighborhood, but you'd be surprised. Some people, especially the self-declared neighborhood royalty like Karen, think HOA rules give them power over your life. And when they cross the line, they'll do it with a smile and a glass of wine in your kitchen. So here's what I learned the hard way. Don't hand out spare keys lightly, even to nice neighbors. Set up home surveillance. It saved me. Document everything, especially when it comes to HOA disputes. Never be afraid to stand up for your rights. Even if they threaten to call the cops, stand your ground. So yeah, that's the story of how I returned from a relaxing trip, only to find Karen living in my home. I still can't believe it actually happened. But now, my locks are changed. Karen's off the HOA board, and my living room is mine again. Let me know in the comments what would you have done if you found someone living in your home without permission. And have you ever had a nightmare neighbor like Karen? Smash that like button if you enjoyed the story. Subscribe for more real-life drama. And always remember, Thank you for watching. God bless you. Please subscribe my channel, keep your keys close, and your neighbors closer. See you in the next one.